I never believed in the concept of absolute truth, until I met something. I used to believe every monster had a weakness. Vampires feared sunlight. Demons feared holy symbols. Ghosts feared unfinished business. Every nightmare had a way to fight back. I was wrong, because 7 months ago, I met something that had no weakness at all. Not because it was powerful, but because it never lied.
Not once, not even by accident. My name is Ethan Carter. For almost 8 years, I made a living exposing fake horror stories on the internet. Urban legends, haunted houses, possession videos, dark web rituals. Every week, someone claimed they had contacted a demon. Every week, I proved they hadn't. Rubber masks, fishing line, video editing, hidden speakers, cheap magic tricks. Eventually, nothing impressed me anymore. Fear became entertainment. The unknown became predictable. My audience loved that. Every upload ended the same way. Another myth destroyed. Another ghost exposed. Another liar embarrassed. I genuinely believed there was no such thing as the supernatural. Then, I found a document that wasn't trying to convince anyone. It wasn't trying to sell a course, it wasn't asking for money. There wasn't even a username attached to it. Just a text file, 36 pages, no images and
no symbols, only coordinates. And one title, The Protocol of Aza'mael. I almost ignored it, almost. 3 nights later, I found myself reading the document again. Then again, then again. Every paragraph raised more questions than answers. According to whoever wrote it, Aza'mael wasn't a demon of greed, or violence, or temptation. It didn't grant wishes. It didn't trade souls. It didn't demand worship. Instead, it answered questions perfectly. Every answer was completely true. No riddles, no metaphors, no hidden meanings, just reality. The final paragraph was only one sentence that refused to leave my mind. Everyone survives the ritual. Nobody survives the truth. I laughed when I read it. It sounded dramatic, like something written by an amateur horror novelist trying too hard. But the document kept pulling me back, day after day, night after night. Eventually, curiosity became obsession. The instructions were strangely ordinary. 1 mirror, 1 candle, 1 analog recorder, 1 black cloth. No religious symbols, no circles, no blood, no chanting, no sacrifices, nothing you'd expect from a demonic ritual. Only 3 rules. Rule 1, never uncover the mirror, unless you're asking a question. Rule 2, never ask about possibilities, only ask about reality. Rule 3, no matter what you hear behind you, never turn around. That last rule actually made me smile. Classic horror cliché. At least, that's what I thought. 2 weeks later, I packed my equipment into my SUV. 3 cameras, fresh batteries, tripods, microphones, an old cassette recorder I bought from a thrift store, a single white candle, and a mirror wrapped tightly inside black velvet. My producer thought I was filming another fake ritual. My subscribers expected another debunking video. So did I. None of us knew. This recording would never be uploaded. The coordinates led deep into northern Illinois, almost 3 hours away from Chicago. Eventually, the asphalt disappeared. Then the gravel road ended. The rest of the journey was on foot. The forest felt wrong, not haunted, not cursed, just empty. No birds, no insects. Even the wind sounded distant, as if the woods were holding their breath. About 20 minutes later, I found it. An abandoned cabin, half collapsed, covered in moss. Its windows were shattered decades ago. The front door leaned inward, as if someone had forced it open. Long ago. I checked my watch. 2:41 a.m., 19 minutes until the ritual. The inside smelled like wet wood, rust, and old earth. The floor creaked beneath every step. Moonlight leaked through holes in the roof. Dust floated through the pale silver beams like tiny frozen stars. I placed the folding table in the center of the room. Mirror, recorder, candle. Everything exactly as described. I checked every camera twice. Fresh batteries. Recording. Perfect. I looked around one final time. Still nothing. No voices, no strange shadows, just silence. I laughed, quietly. Another fake. Those were the last confident words I ever spoke. The pain behind my left eye spread through my skull like molten metal. I couldn't think, couldn't breathe. Every heartbeat felt slower than the one before. The thing inside the mirror remained perfectly still. Watching, waiting, as if it already knew exactly what I would do. I wanted to leave. Every instinct in my body screamed at me to grab the velvet cloth, cover the mirror, and run. But another thought pushed against that instinct. A darker one. If everything it had told me was true, then my life was already over. What difference did one more answer make? I swallowed. Tell me something. The glowing stars inside the darkness shifted slightly. I am listening. I forced the question out. If you know absolute truth, then tell me what happens in the final second before a human dies. Silence. Long. Uncomfortable. Perfect silence. Then, the voice answered. Every human believes death arrives at the final heartbeat. It does not. The final death begins when hope leaves. A chill crawled across my skin. The entity continued. Your species dies twice. First, inside the mind. Then, inside the body. I frowned. What does that mean? When a person accepts that nothing can save them, the mind begins shutting doors. It erases possibilities. It abandons resistance. It prepares itself for extinction. And once hope disappears, the body follows shortly after. My chest tightened. I realized something horrifying. That was exactly what was happening to me. Not because of magic. Not because of a curse. Because every answer it gave me was dismantling my will to survive. I looked away from the mirror. For the first time, I noticed how quiet the cabin really was. There was no wind, no insects, no distant owl, nothing. The entire forest felt dead, not sleeping, dead, I whispered. Why is everything outside silent? The entity answered immediately. Because nothing wishes to approach this place. A knot formed in my stomach. Animals perceive truths. Your species has forgotten. They know where reality becomes thin. They know where predators wait. Another spike of pain stabbed through my head. I nearly collapsed again. Blood dripped from my nose, onto the wooden floor. Drop, drop, drop. The sound echoed impossibly loud. The entity spoke again. You are deteriorating faster. I ignored it. Instead, I asked something I hadn't intended to ask. Have other people spoken to you? Yes. How many? The answer came instantly. 37. Only 37. That number felt strangely small. Where are they now? Another pause. Then, they are still asking questions. I frowned. What do you mean? They never stopped. Cold spread through my arms. They are alive? No. They continue, without bodies. My breathing became uneven. You mean? The conversation never ends. The cabin suddenly felt much smaller, much darker, much colder. What happens after death? If someone speaks with you? They continue seeking answers. Forever. My mouth went dry. because I understood exactly what he meant. Curiosity doesn't die, even after the body does, without thinking. I looked toward the doorway. For a split second, I thought I saw someone standing outside, tall, motionless, half hidden between the trees. I blinked. Nothing. Gone. I saw someone. No. You remembered someone. My heart skipped. What? The human brain searches desperately for familiar shapes. When reality becomes unbearable, you saw memory, not flesh. My stomach twisted. It knew exactly what I had experienced, without me saying a word. Then, something happened. Behind me, I heard footsteps. Slow, heavy, crunch, crunch, crunch. Coming across the rotten wooden floor, every muscle in my body froze. Rule number 3, never turn around. The footsteps stopped, only inches behind me. Warm breath touched the back of my neck. A familiar voice whispered, "Ethan." My blood froze. It sounded exactly like my mother. Not close. Exactly. Every tiny detail. Every pause. Every softness. "Ethan, please turn around." Tears instantly filled my eyes. She had died 5 years earlier. No. No. This couldn't be real. The voice came again. "My son, I'm scared." Every instinct inside me screamed to turn, to help her, to see her one last time. The mirror interrupted. "She is not there!" The voice behind me started crying. Real crying, the kind only a grieving mother could make. My knees shook violently. "I know you're there. Please, look at me." I bit down so hard I tasted blood. The entity spoke. "Truth. Your mother cannot stand behind you. She no longer possesses flesh." The crying became louder, more desperate. "Ethan, please!" My entire body leaned backward, almost involuntarily. One glance. That's all it would take. The mirror spoke again. "Every person hears. The voice they cannot refuse." The realization hit me. It wasn't random. Whatever stood behind people changed. It became the one person they would always turn toward. I squeezed my eyes shut. "I won't look." The crying stopped instantly. Silence. Then, laughter. Not my mother's. Something much older. Something that sounded impossibly pleased. When I opened my eyes, the footsteps were gone. The crying had stopped. The cabin was silent again. But something was wrong. Very, very wrong. The mirror no longer reflected only darkness. Now, I could see myself. Standing inside it. Not my reflection. Another version of me. Perfectly still. Watching. Smiling. I slowly raised my right hand. The thing inside the mirror didn't. It kept both arms at its sides, just smiling. A cold wave passed through my body. "What?" I whispered. "What am I looking at?" The entity answered immediately. "The version of you that accepted the truth." I stared. Its smile grew wider, far wider than a human face should allow. "That's not me." "It will be." My heartbeat stumbled. "No. It already exists. You simply have not become it. Yet." The pain exploded again. This time, my vision blurred completely. For a few seconds, I couldn't even remember why I had come here. Then, the memories rushed back. The diagnosis, the hospital, the MRI, the doctor's face. Everything. I fell against the table. Blood poured from my nose. The entity spoke calmly. "Your remaining time is approximately 9 minutes." I laughed. Not because anything was funny, because my mind had reached its limit. So that's it? I die. Yes. And then eternal darkness. Yes. No heaven. No. No second chance. No. Its answers came instantly, without hesitation, without emotion, without mercy. I looked directly into the mirror. Then why answer anyone? If truth only destroys us, why tell it? For the first time, its voice sounded different. Not softer, just older. Because, you ask, you possess free will. You demand certainty. I merely provide it. You mistake honesty for cruelty. Those words stayed with me. Maybe the truth itself wasn't evil. Maybe humans simply weren't built to survive it. Another sharp stab erupted inside my skull. I collapsed again. Everything became blurry. I could barely hear, barely see, barely think. The entity spoke. You have one question remaining. I already knew what I wanted to ask, the only question that mattered. I looked into the darkness. Have you told me everything? Silence. 5 seconds. 10. Then. No. My heart froze. What didn't you tell me? The question was incomplete. I leaned forward. What do you mean? You asked whether there is hope after death. You never asked whether there is hope before it. I couldn't breathe. The room felt warmer, just slightly. What? I whispered. What hope? The stars inside the mirror dimmed. The truth does not forbid meaning. It only forbids certainty. I frowned. I don't understand. You believed that because life ends, it possesses no value. That conclusion is yours, not mine. I stood there, unable to move. For the first time, the entity had not destroyed hope. It had returned it. In a strange, terrifying way. Meaning wasn't something hidden inside the universe. Meaning was something humans created, even if the universe didn't care. Tears rolled down my face. I wasted 6 days. The entity said nothing. I could have called my sister. Silence. I could have told my friends. Silence. I could have gone home. Silence. I could have watched one last sunrise. Silence. Every sentence hurt more than the tumor, because they were true. Then I remembered something. The rules. 3 rules. I had obeyed every one, except I never questioned why they existed. I looked up. You said, never uncover the mirror, except while asking a question. Yes. You said, never ask hypothetical questions. Yes. And never turn around. Yes. Why? The answer came immediately. Because those rules protect humans. From what? The cabin shook. The purple flame stretched upward. The darkness inside the mirror began moving, not swirling, walking, shapes, hundreds of them, standing silently behind the entity, human silhouettes, motionless, watching me, every one of them. Inside the mirror, I felt sick. Who are they? They asked. One question too many. Cold flooded my veins. They're trapped? Yes. They sought certainty. They found permanence. Every silhouette slowly raised its head, looking directly at me. None of them had faces. Only empty darkness. I finally understood. The mirror wasn't showing another world. It was a prison. every curious soul, stored forever. My vision darkened again. The tumor was winning. The entity spoke one last time. Your body will cease function within seconds. I smiled weakly. I know. You may still enter. Its voice remained calm. The offer stands. I looked at the mirror, then toward the cabin door. Beyond it, I could see dawn, the first pale light breaking through the trees. Beautiful, simple, real. For 6 days, I had hidden from death. Now, for the first time, I wasn't afraid of it. I took the black velvet cloth. The entity didn't move. Are you refusing? Yes. You choose pain. I choose life. You have only minutes. I know. They will hurt. I know. They will end. I know. I looked into the mirror one final time. And that's exactly why they matter. For the first time, the entity remained silent. No answer, no correction, no truth, only silence. I gently placed the velvet cloth over the mirror. The purple flame instantly turned yellow. The crushing weight vanished. Warm air returned. Birds began singing outside. The forest was alive again. I stumbled toward the door. Every step felt impossible. Blood blurred my vision, but the sunrise grew brighter. I reached my car. Collapsed into the driver's seat with shaking hands. I picked up my phone. 4 missed calls, 1 voicemail, 1 message from my sister. Please call me. I'm worried about you. I pressed call. She answered on the first ring. Ethan? I couldn't stop crying. I'm coming home. Doctors couldn't save me. The tumor was too advanced.
They told me I had only weeks. They were right, but those weeks became the most meaningful days of my life. I apologized, I forgave, I laughed, I watched the sunrise, I watched the rain, I listened to music, I spent time with people I loved. The universe never promised those moments mattered. I decided they did. This recording was found on the analog tape recorder after my death. Experts never explained why only my voice was captured. No second voice, no strange frequencies, just long periods of silence, followed by me asking questions that sounded as if someone invisible were answering. 3 weeks after my death, the abandoned cabin was discovered by a pair of forest rangers. They weren't looking for me. They were investigating reports of strange lights deep in the woods. My SUV was still parked exactly where I had left it. The driver's door was unlocked. The keys were still in the ignition. Inside, they found the cabin, collapsed, rotting, half swallowed by the forest. On the floor, they found an old analog tape recorder, still dry, still working. No batteries, no logical explanation. When they pressed play, the tape contained only one voice, mine. Long stretches of silence, broken by questions, as though I were speaking to someone who could never be heard. There was no second voice, no static, no distortion, just me, asking impossible questions to empty air. The official report concluded that terminal brain cancer had caused severe auditory hallucinations before my death. Case closed. Or, that's what they believed. There was one item they couldn't explain. Near the center of the cabin, standing upright, untouched by moisture, untouched by time, was a black mirror. Its surface had no dust, no cracks, no fingerprints, as if it had been placed there. Only moments earlier, wrapped around it, was a thick black velvet cloth. One of the rangers reached for it. The other stopped him. Leave it! For reasons neither of them could explain, they both felt it should remain covered.
The mirror was taken into evidence. Locked away, cataloged, forgotten. Months passed, nothing happened, until Evidence Locker 12, Chicago, 3 a.m. Officer Daniel Brooks was working the overnight shift alone. The security cameras later showed him walking through the storage room without any assigned reason. He stopped in front of shelf C-17. The mirror, still covered. Daniel stood perfectly still for almost 2 full minutes. Then, without speaking, he slowly reached out and lifted the velvet cloth. The camera feed froze. Exactly. At 3 a.m., when the system restarted, 43 seconds had passed. Daniel was gone. There were no signs of forced entry, no blood, no footprints, nothing, except the mirror, standing exactly where it had always been, still uncovered. Police searched the entire building. Daniel Brooks was never found. He remains officially listed as a missing person. The evidence technician assigned to photograph the scene filed one final note before resigning. It was only 1 sentence long. The mirror reflects the room correctly, except for one extra person standing behind whoever looks into it. No one believed him. The report was archived. The mirror was covered once again and placed back into storage, where it remains to this day. If one day you ever find yourself standing alone in front of an old mirror, covered by black velvet, and you hear a voice inside your head whisper, ask, don't, because some doors don't open outward. They close behind you. I spent my entire life searching for the truth. I thought finding it would set me free. I was wrong. Some truths are prisons.